Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhang dhammang sanghang namasami. So we just came back from Bindabat today at Karamata, and we're in the car. We're talking about different things. What's so interesting being a monk? What keeps you in the robes? And what to learn from the cycles of the practice as your faith sometimes increases, sometimes ebbs and wanes. And so today you'll get the top hits of the Dhamma talks. And one thing is important to also remind people about the practice, what sustains your practice, what keeps you practice, whether you're a monk or a nun or as a lay person. What sustains the meditation is it's important to always find joy in your practice, in life, every day. Of course, obviously, it would be great if you find joy, get happiness, contentment in the meditation. So that would be good, really great if that happens. But sometimes that doesn't always happen. But that's not the only way to find joy as well. There are many ways, and that's part of your job, is to focus on what makes you happy. Sometimes it's just, walking in the forest. Sometimes it's learning some chanting. Believe it or not, it brings a lot of joy as well once you get the hang of it. Sometimes reflecting on your wholesome life. Maybe your meditation isn't great. Maybe you've slept in. Maybe you didn't sit as long as you wanted to sit. Or whatever, maybe you didn't live up to your expectation. But at least you're trying. At least you're keeping the 8 precepts if you're in the monastery. If you're a monk, at least you're keeping the harmlessness, the bhikkhu's rule, the 227 rules as best as you can. At least you're living in a life that's wholesome. So there are many ways to find joy and trying to always try to look for that, to cultivate that. As I say this over and over again, it's like a muscle, it's in the mind. You have to develop it. It doesn't come naturally. Some people, it's easier, obviously. Some people are kind of inclined on the joyful side. Other people inclined on the grumbling kind. It's too hot. It's too noisy, I try to meditate. Cicadas are too loud, or whatever. People are walking in and out. Can you just change the floor? Who builds a meditation hall on wooden floor? It creaks all the time, Can we change the heater? Heater makes a lot of noise too, All sorts of things when the mind's not happy. It looks for things to blame, looks for things to fault find. And that's the trap of the negative mind. That's a trap of the defilements. Just say that things aren't good enough, so you can't meditate. Things, you're not good enough, and that's why you're not meditating. But part of a meditator, part of a practitioner, is to not fall for those voices in your head, not fall for those judgments, but to call its bluff and find joy in all that you do. Sometimes it could be service to Sangha, cleaning the sala, sweeping, raking. So I said, you can't go wrong in the monastery doing a bit of raking. Can't go wrong in the monastery cleaning the shrine or the sala. Those are never wrong things to do. And they could be just little things like that, that sometimes you'll be surprised. That brings a bit of happiness in the mind. Just lifts the mind up. To veer away from the fault finding, to veer away the negativity. There are some times in our minds from time to time. Because unless you're fully enlightened, the five defilements are always in the mind. Fault finding, greed, delusion, laziness, sloth and torpor, confusion, restlessness. So unless you're fully enlightened, expect those forces to lurk in the mind. And your job as practitioner is to incline the mind towards those five spiritual qualities. Incline the mind towards wholesome states. Sometimes it's just look around, rejoice in the goodness of others. It's sometimes so easy to look around and to fault find, to be jealous of others, to be annoyed and irritated. But as the muscles in the mind, you're exercising your muscles of rejoicing in the goodness of others, finding the common humanity in others, finding the strength. Look for the goodness in others. And the more you look, believe in that, the more you find. So say over and over again, what you focus on, you'll find. So look for goodness, you'll find goodness. You look for the fault finding, you look for the negativity, you'll find that as well. And the truth is, it's neither here or there. Nobody's completely good, and nobody's completely bad. No monastery is perfect. No monastery is completely hopeless either. It's what you make of it. So your job, hopeless practitioner, is always to find the positive, incline the mind towards what is good and wholesome, towards inspiration, towards generosity. And we're talking, yes, word Buddhism, even the Thai forest tradition, it's a smorgasbord of all the good, the bad, the ugly, the strange. But it's never an excuse not to practice. So on the top here it says, look for joy, look for positivity, and no excuses. It's never an excuse not to practice. Oh, I can't practice because blah, 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 blah. It's too hot, no one's practicing. My teacher's not fully enlightened, the Buddha's not here, people are making too much noise, I have a bad digestion, I'm not well enough. Whatever it is, no excuses. You can always practice. You can't sit in meditation, you can do some walking, you can do some study the Dhamma, learn some chanting, clean your kuti. Always something you can do to incline the mind towards positivity, to bring up the spiritual qualities in the mind of generosity, faith, energy, truthfulness. Whenever you're sick and you can't meditate, your body's you're feeling awful, you're still keeping the 8 precepts to the best of your ability. Still refrain from harming other beings as best as you can. And those count, and they're important, something not to be overlooked. Living a restrained lifestyle as best as you can. Maybe you look at your phone too often. Maybe you listen to some music ever so often, but that's okay. But you're trying to, the best you can. Maybe you ate that extra piece of cake. It's still okay. You're trying the best you can. You're living in a peaceful, calm environment. And the more you incline towards that, build upon wholesome lifestyle, the more you incline the mind towards the Dhamma and away from the worldly things of judging, comparing, fault finding. you'll find that the mind will naturally starts to brighten up. There's more energy in the mind. You're not wasting it in fault finding. Find it is easier to sit. It's easier to be still. And we're so lucky. We live in a beautiful place. So it's easy to find a sense of contentment. Lots of time in seclusion by ourselves. Quiet, we can take walks, do extra projects if you want to, a bit of studying if you want to. It's always opportunity to incline the mind towards contentment, happiness, gratitude, of looking what's good in the world, what's good in other people. And the thing is, what you look in good in other, those muscles of looking for the good in the world, once you start doing that, it gets easier. It's easier to see what's good in yourself, really. Because that's the thing with the double-edged sword of a fault-finding mind. First it goes outward and cuts everybody down. But eventually that knife's going to boomerang back and cuts you up. When no one's around, it's going to start cutting inside. Knowing that, we don't incline towards that. We don't rationalize it. We don't give it power, give it energy. We recognize what it is. Okay, yeah, I'm kind of grumpy. That's okay, it's just a grumpy mood. It comes and goes. Not me, not mine, not a self. So no excuses. Whether you're sick, whether you're in peak condition, whether you're feeling good, whether the meditation is going well or not, you can always practice. However that means to you. Always incline the mind towards wholesome states. Always incline the mind towards away from fault finding. Incline the mind towards forgiveness, acceptance, contentment, gratitude. And once you know, to find some joy, then the path is easy. It sustains you day in, day out. Do this for another 100 years, another 100 lifetime. Because it's a path of increasing happiness. You're with good people. You see the dangers of the defilements. And you see the potential of the Dhamma, of the practice in yourself and others. So that sustains you naturally. It's not a sense of willpower, but it's a sense of the power of the Dhamma, the power of the practice. Allows you to practice the Dhamma day in, day out, regardless of the background of your emotional states, whether you're happy, depressed, or angry, disappointed. We've all been there. Hopefully by living in a community, you also understand and hear other people's stories. You realize, yes, sometimes you think you're the only one having these issues, having digestion problems. No, we all have digestion problems. Have a bad back or a bad knee. There's always somebody having bad backs and bad knees in the community. So this is all normal. We all have our challenges. We also have the potential, the wherewithal to overcome the obstacles in our practice. Always inclined towards peace and kindness, towards simplicity, towards gratitude. So it's about not, and you say, well, I can't practice because this and that. You can always practice. No excuses. And as you continue pursuing this path, it does have its own momentum. You'll find that it's easier, that the negativity that possesses your mind from time to time doesn't stay for very long. Or you can be with them. Yeah, I'm just irritated, an irritated mood. That's okay. I've been here before. It comes and it goes. You don't have to do anything with it. So it gives you confidence to face whatever the world brings, however the world changes. whatever moods your mind gets into, you can be with it. And you're not attached to it. You don't make a self out of it. You're powered by wisdom and Dhamma, not powered by willpower. And it is a path of increasing happiness, of seeing the joy that brings others, of seeing the changes it brings yourself and others around you. And when you look at that, you focus on that, it makes you, it makes you even happier, more joyful. You find it's easier to sit and meditate. You don't have to force yourself. The mind is naturally peaceful. It's not through willpower that it stays with the breath, but it just absorbs onto the breath naturally. You sit perfectly content, perfectly peaceful for hours on end, without even trying. There's a path of the organic Dhamma unfolding in yourself and others. So this is a path of joy, where sometimes you do have to spark that, you have to look for it. You have to train the mind a little bit to incline towards this. Path of joy, path of service, path of just inclining the mind towards wholesome states and away from negativity. And whatever's happening outside, whatever's happening inside, always practice, no excuses. So those are the few words of encouragement tonight. I offer that for your reflection.